Hey guys, it's Holly, and I know quite a lot of you have been waiting for me to do another one of these videos, and that is a Hogwarts MOC update. And honestly, I was kind of struggling with what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do things like the kitchen and the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom and just a bunch of things like that, but I didn't know where I wanted to put it because the whole goal of this MOC was to kind of rework all of my older Harry Potter sets from 2010 till like 11 and 12 and things like that. So I didn't know how I was going to do that because this is on a much smaller scale. So I kind of got stumped. I also needed to wait for a delivery of 10 1x1s. And honestly, I thought I ordered enough. I've already run out after today. So I sat down today and I didn't know what I was going to do. I just pulled out everything. I pulled out all of my pieces, which I still haven't put away. Hence the background. It's really quite a mess up there. There's just a lot of stuff right now. But I sat down and I thought, you know what, I have two really short buildings that I don't really know what to do with. Let's build a layer on the bottom and kind of do the kitchens. And then I realized I could put these side by side and connect them with a Technic pin like initially planned. So I just went ahead and did it. I also did a few tiny updates to my main like really tall tower. I tried to the very top of it and I just could not do it. I realized I need a lot more slope pieces to kind of bring it in and then stick up at the top. And even then I feel like it's going to kind of look incomplete. So I really need to workshop some options for that one. I also added some more plants to the greenhouse as usual, but it was like the tiniest amount, so I'm not really going to go through that. I also added some more plants to Hagrid's hut. Once again, it was the tiniest little thing, so I thought I would focus mainly on these two Hogwarts buildings today, but also I have two new figures that I've created. So I'll start off by showing you guys them. So the first figure I've made is Romilda Vane from Gryffindor, and she's featured in the Half-Blood Prince, and I actually got a comment saying that, oh, you should do Romilda Vane on my like giant video that I did on all of my custom Hogwarts students that I'd made. And I actually ordered this hairpiece recently off Bricks and Pieces and it arrived, and I've got two of them, and I had it just sat on another figure, and I thought, you know what, that would be perfect for this figure. And then I was kind of looking around because from memory in the movies, Romilda Vane's skin tone is a bit darker. I feel like I could potentially go darker and try and do like Dean Thomas type of skin tone, but for the moment I've given her one of my other Cho Chang faces, and then like a lot of my other figures I just need to swap out the hands. And then I also did make her the little chocolate box that she gifts to Harry and put one of those heart plates on the top, as I did have a few of them spare. I feel like ideally that should be dark red, but I didn't have a dark red jumper lying around, so I just made it regular red and then put a regular 2x2 white plate at the bottom, and she's just got the regular Gryffindor torso from the student pack. The second figure I made is just a random miscellaneous student. Like I really like to just like chuck a bunch of different ones on, but I really wanted to show you guys this one in particular because this is the figure that I used to have the Romilda Vane hair on, and like it looked good and everything, but when I thought, you know what, I'm going to put it on Romilda Vane instead, I don't really want to pull out the second one out of my part storage. So I was looking around for different hair pieces and it kind of hit me. I was like, something I haven't done with my Hogwarts students is mix up the different hair lengths between all of the different figures. I am a really big advocate, at least in my Hogwarts and when I'm trying to make students, to include a lot of diversity by like firstly including as many of the diverse named characters that I can do, but also just getting a variety of different headpieces and hands and kind of swapping it out, because at the end of the day that's a proper representation of what a real Hogwarts would look like. So that's what I'm trying to achieve with all of the custom students I make. And something I've never thought about doing or even considered, which honestly shocks me, is giving a female figure some shorter hair like a pixie cut. Now I was torn between using this hairpiece and just like the regular Mutt Williams Oliver Wood type of hair, but I've got a ton of Harry's. I thought I might as well reuse his hairpiece. So here are the two buildings I've done. Well, technically it is three. These two are the ones that I spent the most amount of time on, and these are technically two separate ones, and then I've just put a Technic pin in here so that I can slot them together. It's only got one. I didn't do it at the bottom, which I kind of regret, and I was debating putting it in after, but I decided to just go with the one. And then this second one we've seen hundreds of times, so we'll start with this one first. So all of the changes to this tower all come from the bottom level. So firstly, I've just added some more bits to the bottom and more greenery, you know, stuff that doesn't actually fall off. Everything I had on previously just fell off all the time. And then you turn it around and I've really gone all out, I think, with Myrtle's bathroom with the limited space I have. So firstly, I finished off the sink. I did have to change kind of the build around that I was planning to go through, which I kind of talked about that more in an older episode, so I'll link the playlist in the description and in the cards here. And then just in the build, I added a bunch of transparent blue studs from when Myrtle floods the bathroom. And then another thing I did is I attached one of the studs with the holes in it to the roof with those superhero, and the piece that Moaning Myrtle has to kind of make them fly and look like it's an action shot, and then attached Myrtle so that she's upside down and it looks like she's flying through the bathroom. I also have one of the Tom Riddle diaries in the corner there. And honestly, Myrtle hanging from the ceiling is my favorite part to this. And I don't know what it is. It's just, I feel like little things like this really pull all of the rooms together, and that's what makes me feel like it's complete. Like, I really don't think that I could do too much more to this space now. Like, one, I just do not have the space inside this tiny area, but two, it's like it's got enough detail in that small space to really make it feel like it's a scene and an environment from the film. Speaking of that, because the Chamber of Secrets then falls down to the bottom, we do have some bones and a little snake, and I do really want to attempt the Chamber of Secrets. I just don't think it will kind of fit in with this. I think it's going to have to be kind of its own separate build, because like I said in one of my recent videos as well, that I am doing a basilisk build, which I'm really excited for. Unfortunately though, I was missing a lot of pieces out of that order, so I've just got to wait for the replacements to arrive, which should hopefully be early January, so I can do another Hogwarts MOC update once those arrive and show you all the basilisk when that gets here. So moving on to the final building. Now, I've done a lot of work on this and I pretty much did this entire thing today. So initially these two buildings were just on their own, and I also did not have a proper roof done on this side, and I just didn't know what to do, and I realized I had some plates left over, so I should probably build it up, because as much as this tower looked fine on its own, this one just, it did not, and I could not attach it to the other tower because then it would definitely be way too tall. So I decided to build up from underneath and finally do something that I've been waiting to do a very long time, and that is the kitchens. So we'll start off with the one I did first, which was this little building here. Now, I could not find any of the plates were the same size as these ones on the top. I swear I have them, and I checked all of my parts bags from my broken down Hogwartses, because that's where I believed it was supposed to be, but I just couldn't find it. So I used these slightly longer ones, which initially I had kind of sticking out, and then trying to like slope everything in so that there'd be one stud on either side, and it just did not work. So what I did is kind of built this wall that sticks out so I've got more interior space. Then I could fill it up with some of like the rocky textures and slope pieces around the side, and then bring it in. Now also, because this is the kitchens and it's like at the very bottom of the castle, I didn't want to add any windows for at least this section of it, so I've just left it dark. So to kind of compensate on the inside, I have added some candles on either side. So we're going to go a bit overexposed for a second here, just so that you can see the inside of the kitchen. So at the top, I've got some of those really nice architect bricks with like the bits and curls sticking out. I've also put two pillars at the front just to kind of give it some texture and pieces like that, which is another reason why I've got these cylindrical columns on the outside and the inside, which to kind of compensate for that, I did add some brown cylindrical pieces to the tops of the tables just to make everything blend in more. You can also see the other candle kind of on a little candlestick type of thing. And then we do have 3 tables here, one of which is supposed to be kind of like a chopping board to cut this carrot, which is why I've got a knife and a spoon hanging up on the wall. You can also see at the very roof we do have a singular light, and then on the other side there is a silver chrome plate with 2 pieces of turkey or chicken or something like that. And I really like how the tables like kind of outline the space of the room and how it digs out, like you walk in and then the room is bigger on the inside by like a brick. I don't know why, like I just think it's really cool. And then on the top, this building has not changed at all. I've still got the statue from the 2019 advent calendar, and I don't actually think that I had the Slytherin flags up here in my last Hogwarts MOC update, so I did add them in too. But that is the entirety of that tower, and then I do have the Technipins on the side so that it can attach to the second building here, which is our Charms classroom segment, which as you can see also has the Ravenclaw flags in the background. And this is pretty much the same. It's replicating that Wingardium Leviosa scene, which is going to be one of the Hogwarts Moments book. So what I do want to try and do with those Moments books is I like you can take them apart and kind of piece them out. I would like the book itself to stay complete, but I might try and reuse a lot of the other pieces from those sets into this MOC. I'm not too sure yet. I'm thinking about potentially getting a second Transfiguration one, so maybe I'll break that one down for parts. At the top as well, I did make one of these like just short looking rims at the top, countering it off with those slope pieces like they've done in some of the other sets, particularly I believe it is the Whomping Willow, and then I have a grey owl sat at the top. But the most important and most exciting part is the bottom, which I added today. So in here we have a continuation of the kitchen, which I really like the design of. It was quite hard to do this as I ran out of those corner pieces, so I really had to brick build it, which is why it's kind of blocky, and honestly I wish it wasn't like that, but I don't hate it. I also love the amount of texture that there is and different tones, and how I use the greys on this side as well, because I didn't do that with the other side of the building. And overall I think it turned out pretty well. Now at this nook at the back I did put a little sink, because the house elves are going to have somewhere to wash the dishes, so I kind of made the sink indented into the castle so that it all kind of looked really flush and really good. And as you can see, there is like that little nook in there, just like the other building kind of had. And then we have a table on either side, and I've also got these arch pieces both at the front and slightly at the back, just to make the architecture of these rooms a bit more interesting. I've also got some cylindrical pieces on the wall, and you can see some of the backs of the masonry bricks, which I really like. Then on the left we do have a cooked turkey, and on the other side we have a little stove top with a translucent orange piece underneath it to make it look like the flame is on. And then I have another one of those silver chrome plates. I really want to put some food on it, but I want to put some food on it that I know isn't going to fall off. I was debating putting a croissant in here, but it just didn't look right, and I know that that's going to slide off, whereas I wanted to kind of be a bit more secure. And then of course, as I've kind of built it to be, the building so attach here so that you can connect them, and then you've got this kind of big, not so open, not very large but large kitchen at the very bottom, which honestly I'm really happy with how this turned out. This is a very impromptu decision, and I just built and like tried out a bunch of different techniques and saw what worked, and I'm really proud of the result that it came up with. And like I said, this MOC isn't supposed to be some large scale thing. It's just utilizing the sets that we have and making the interiors more interesting pretty much. So I'm really happy with how that building turned out, and I think the fact that the building on the right does stick out that extra bit just makes it look more exciting. So now that this building's done, I want to put this in my Hogwarts display downstairs and kind of bulk it up. And this is actually the first piece of the Hogwarts MOC that I am officially done with. There are a lot that have come very close, specifically Dumbledore's office. Like the interior is all done. I just need to order some more tan slope pieces to finish that off. So I'm really happy. Like it's done, it's complete, and I'm really proud of how it turned out. Once again, I really want to try and do Defense Against the Dark Arts, and ideally I want to try and do that within the clock tower and just rejig that entire interior. Now that I've also opened the advent calendars, I plan on putting like the Goblet of Fire and stuff in there from the advent calendar just to make it look a bit better. As always, if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below as well. And until next time guys, I'll see you later.